Okay, great. That was relatively painless. So welcome to the first broadcast for the Virtual Assistants Job Club. Look, applying for jobs online sounds easy, but as in anything in life that's worthwhile, you have to put a bit of work into it. And I know a lot of people will set up a profile and then start applying for jobs. And there are a lot of jobs on there. But there are things that you need to watch out for, and there are things that you need to do to make sure that you appear professional and a real person. So you can imagine that for every authentic person looking for a job, there's plenty of people who just try for it. Now, people go onto eLance for different things, and some people are bargain hunters, but not everyone is a bargain hunter. I did a search for eLance jobs that have been posted over the last 3 days, and I just used the term virtual assistant, and it returned 459 jobs. Now, there's a lot of work. And if you're determined to make a success of your business, of your virtual business, then making sure you have putting the effort into making sure that you have a professional online profile. Now we're using eLance. This is just one of the many job sites, but what applies here applies right across the board. And as in anything, when you first set it up, you have to build your profile and your reputation. So it's not just applying for jobs, it's applying to build a relationship with that person. Because if they're happy with what you provide, they'll give you a good review. Now, I just set this profile up so that you could have a look at it, and I went and spent a little time on it. You can see I've never had a job on eLance. I've never looked for work on eLance, so I have no ratings here. And people are looking for those ratings before they hire you. So a good strategy is to look for short-term, low-level jobs that you can do quickly, but you can give good value for and you'll get a great rating. So in those initial jobs, don't worry whether you make a lot of money at it or not. It's more about building up your reputation. Do you understand that? That the focus initially is in getting your profile to the stage where when people look at it and when you bid for jobs, everyone will want to hire you. Great. So if I just go, there's a couple of places on my profile that I want to highlight. The first one is the fact that it's 100% complete. Okay, I still have to verify a phone number, and I will do that. The other part is, I'm trying to scroll down and that's not good. The other part is the portfolio. Now, I know some VAs will say they can't give samples of their work because there may be client information, it could be sensitive information that they do. But the other thing that you can do is you can make an image of a testimonial that you've received and put that in your portfolio so that people, when they look at it, they see the testimonials. Now, when you put a testimonial up there, make sure that you put the person's name and their business. And you can also do a little intro about the type of work that you did for that client and then have that testimonial. That's a great portfolio. If you can do things like PowerPoint, or if you've got, you've helped people put publicly accessible information, then there's nothing to stop you actually using that information as an example in your portfolio. But I really do stress that you have something in your portfolio. You know, if you've done some work, sometimes you can blank out any identifiers. You could actually ask clients if you can use their work as an example in your eLance portfolio as well.
Hi, thanks.
Sorry, someone's trying to phone me. Um, the other thing about this, I'll just unplug that so it doesn't come through. The other thing I wanted to highlight, right, so that's the portfolio, okay, is the skills. Now, the stats from eLance themselves, they say that your 76% of eLance clients will hire you if you've actually done the skills tests, okay? And if these skills tests match the job that you're going for, then it's a great way to get someone's attention. And clients look to see what you've actually been tested on, and if you can get to the top 5% on something like that for blogging, then clearly you go for the blogging jobs. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a little tip about how to develop your skills. And I know a lot of people get nervous when there's a test involved, and you might not get a very good result the first time you do it. To get to all the skills, you click on the edit, and you can add skills there, and you can view all the available tests here. But you can decide where you can delete. You can do it and delete it. You can decide not to show it on your display it or not display it. Okay, so I can click on that little box and it will add it to my profile or not. So don't be too concerned about it. But another little trick is actually don't do it on your live eLance profile right away. Practice it at the actual website. Now, the people that supply these tests are called smarter.com. Where am I? Take tests. Now you have to sign up, but you don't need to use your own email address. You can actually use any email address because it's not a double opt-in. So I'm going to say I'm, you know, any password and then sign up. John is already. I'm just making this up. I don't actually have that email address, but anyway, obviously someone does have that email address. So you can actually fill in your profile and then on John 756, done. And then you're logged in as anyone and you can explore the tests. And there's quite a lot of tests, and once you can actually create a test if you want. If there's something here that you want to satisfy yourself that you can do or you know a lot about, you can actually create a test on here as well. So and there's tests still in development. Okay. So on the left-hand side, there's business skills, there's desktop software design tools, marketing, social networks, office tools. Let's have a look at that. So there's PowerPoint you can do, there's medical terminal, basic clerical skills, anything that you can think of, there's tests here for. So let's click on marketing and see what we've got here. There's web design, Facebook marketing, blogging best practices. 7,120 people have taken it. There's Google AdWords, there's advertising, email marketing, search engine marketing, Google Analytics, Facebook, you name it, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. I'll go blogging best practices. And they give you, it's all multiple choice, and they give you a practice question. You can actually add a question if you like, here. And you get so long to answer each question. And I got it right, so I can then begin the test. You're about to start. The questions will count. Your score is based on a scale of 0 to 800. More difficult questions are worth more points. They're timed, but there's no bonus for finishing early. Time is allotted based on question word count. Leave feedback if you see a problem. It's a big help. And then begin. A gravatar. So what is the term for a globally recognized avatar? It's a gravatar, and it's counting down. And it tells you what type of question it is. It's a moderate question. Out of 4,824 responses, 55% were correct and 45% were incorrect. Okay? Next question. What is an SEO best practice for including images in a post? Defining alt text, definitely. Giving the image a title, linking an image, defining alt text. I'm counting down, it's not at 10, I've got to get there before it gets to 0. Correct. Okay? Again, that's my score, it's adding up. I've got 550. This was a hard question. Out of 3,000 responses, 45% were correct and 55% were incorrect. Okay. Do you get the idea about these quizzes? And can you see the advantage of actually practicing them away from eLance before you're ready to take the test on eLance? Does it make you more confident about doing the tests on eLance? Yeah, I think most of us like tests, especially when we get a good result. So really, doing the tests and having those skills up there means that, for instance, if I was applying for a blogging job, I would mention that in my bid, that I'm amongst the top 5% on eLance that know about blogging. And that will influence the person to hire you or not. Now, the other thing I'll say about the overview, and to be honest, the hourly rate I wouldn't worry about. We'll talk about putting in a bid and pricing and all of that in another hangout. But don't get hung up on a minimum hourly rate. I would suggest initially you go for jobs that are probably a project based. They're low level and they won't take you a hell of a lot of time, because what you want to do is to get those ratings. So you want to give great service and get a great rating. But the first thing you've got to do is have a professional profile. You have an image that is full-faced and is professional. You don't have a cat sitting on your desk or whatever. It's about you. It's about being professional but friendly. The other thing with your overview, what is your unique selling proposition? So what makes you different from every other freelancer on eLance? Okay. And this is what I've put 3 dot points there. But if you've done your mentoring, your one-to-one temps, you will have those 3 key attributes. You'll have your influencers, which is your experience, your qualifications, you know, the blend of your abilities, okay, as well as your key attributes. And actually mention them in your profile because it makes it personal, okay. There's also groups on, in regards to skills, there's groups on eLance as well, and if you've passed the test for that particular skill, you can join that group. And within the group, you can actually put in to be alerted when any jobs are posted in that group. And it's a great way to build a network of people with similar skills to you. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of people on eLance will get a lot of jobs because their profile is so well built up and they can't handle all the work. So they'll actually go into the group and ask people if they can help them out. So it's another way of getting jobs as well. And again, we'll cover that in another session. I brought in 2 jobs. This one here that I put up. And I know this one says candidates from US only, which is interesting. And yet people have responded who are from Bangladesh and India. But this person is in Melbourne, Victoria, he says, okay. The little $sign there means that his payment has been verified. So he's logged either a PayPal account or a credit card with eLance. So that means that you've got more success of being paid by them. Now, not every client on eLance that posts a job is equal. And it's very important that you do your due diligence, okay? There's a couple of bits of information in this little in this little pop-out that is of interest to us. The fact that there is payment verified means it's a tick. The fact that he's only awarded 5 out of 16 jobs is not a good ratio. You're looking for someone who's awarded 50% or more of the jobs. He's only been a member since March 2014. And that means, hi Moira, he's only been a member since March 2014. So look, he's fairly new, but he's posted 16 jobs in that time. So to me, it tells me he's finding his feet. Okay. Because you're also finding your feet on eLance, I would suggest that you start with smaller jobs from clients who've used eLance more extensively. Okay. It's strange that he's asking for US only, and that may have been that he ticked the wrong box when he put the job up. Good verbal, start immediately, able to commit for at least 12 months. And actually, these are really good questions he's asked. You know, what are your top 3 skills? And that's another reason why you do the testing. Okay, so he's looking for an internet connection. He's looking at whether you can solve problems or not. Is there a test at the moment that can demonstrate that you can problem solve? And if not, create one. Are you able to deal with clients? You know, obviously, how can you demonstrate that? Good verbal communication skills, able to start immediately, able to commit for at least 12 months. But the last question he's asked is, what is your academic background? Now, in the requirements above, none of those skills would intimate to me that you need an academic background for it. So I'm going to talk about a little trick with bidding for these jobs. And he's saying, please use monthly expected salary to bid. Thank you. Now, he doesn't say, he says that it's full time. So is he looking for someone that's 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week? You know, full time can be anything over 30 hours a week, I would imagine. Is he looking for someone to work on weekends? You know, is it 7 days, 5 days? Is it during work hours? Is it after hours? There's a whole host of information that he hasn't given you. And when you look down at the people that have applied, you can actually go in and look at their profiles. You can look at the skills that they've got: admin assistant, virtual assistant, executive assistant. She's had some earnings and 2 jobs, which is good. She's level 3, but she hasn't had any feedback, which is interesting. And there's people without. Thanks, Maurice. Thanks for coming back in. There's people with 1.2, 1.5 average job rating, weighted by earnings, 12 months, 1 job. Okay. And you can go in and look at your competition and have a look at what they have done, how they've submitted a bid. The big thing for me here, obviously the people with 5, 4.5 stars are people that's worth looking at. Now, you'll have noticed in the previous screen that the summary that comes up is the first couple of lines on your overview. Okay, so when you apply for a job, the client can see that first 1.5 lines of what you've said in your overview. It's very important that you get those first 2 lines right. And rather than just bid for any job that's there, select the jobs and be very specific and write that one-liner to meet those jobs. So if you're going to look at virtual assistants, customer service, your first line should be, I'm an extremely well-experienced customer service manager who loves helping clients. If you're going to go for blogging, I'm on the top 2% of everyone on eLance who knows about blogging. If you're going to do for editing and proofreading, I'm a fully qualified editor, proofreader with several years experience. Be specific with 5 years experience. Or I'm a blogger. Or do you get the idea? You need to be specific. And there are so many jobs on eLance, you can afford to be specific. And just for this week, apply for those jobs in that category so that you can write your overview and your bid to meet the needs of the client. Does that make sense? Scrolling through this, you can see that she's had some jobs and she's got some good feedback. And she's got 1 document in her portfolio. I certainly would open that. But she's got 10 skills listed, but she's only been tested in 1. And she's in the top 20% in customer service. So guess what test you're going to do. And in fact, you're going to do more than customer service, and you're going to get higher than the top 20%. And that will be your aim. And if we go back to what the the client is looking for. So you can see the first 2 lines is what the client reads initially. You've got to get their attention. You want them, the next step in submitting a bid is for them to open your message and read more. The next step is for them to actually contact you. So the trick with submitting a bid is to have those first 2 lines written in such a way that they want to open it. And when they open it, the bid, the thing you do is ask them a question. You ask them an intelligent and sensible question about their requirements. With those 3 questions he's asked you, you can certainly put in what your top 3 skills are, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what is your academic background, and ask them, why do you want this information? I'll be more than happy to give you a full rundown of what my academic background is, but I'd like to know more about it. You should ask them about the hours. Do you want someone that's going to be available on weekends or after hours? Is that important to you? What is full-time? Is it 30 to 40 hours a week? Can you please explain? You can't possibly give someone a budget or your monthly expected salary until you know that more information. And if you ask them a relevant question, then the chances are they'll come back if they're genuine, and if you can point out that you've got those skills tested on eLance and that you're showing good results, then they'll come back and answer that question. That next step is about building a relationship. If they're genuine clients, they'll take the time and they'll develop that relationship with you. If they're not genuine, then move on. You can detract your bid at any time. You can edit your bid at any time. There's no risk to you. So it's important that you get to know the client. Now I'm going to look, is there any questions about that work?
Liz, I have a quick question.
Yep.
Just in terms of the information that you include in your portfolio, what if you don't have anything to show yet? If you're really new, could you put content that you've written for your personal blog?
Absolutely. Look, if you can do PowerPoint, there's nothing to stop you, for instance, putting a PowerPoint presentation together. Okay. And adding it to your, because you're demonstrating what you can do with PowerPoint, for instance. For you, doing a screen capture of, you've done that SEO, you're showing that you come up for the top 8 in a certain key term. I would screen capture that and put some text on it. You can do that in Paint. You don't need any special software. And say, this demonstrates my SEO skills. I got top 8 in a key term. Okay, you just need to think outside the box a little bit for your portfolio, because you do have to be aware of client confidentiality.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but if your clients may not want you to publicize the fact that you've written an article for them. So it's very important, if you are going to use an example that you did for a client, that you get their permission and put that on the sample, that this has been provided with the permission of the client. And if you can't get anything, if clients are saying, no, I'm not happy, just do a sample. This is a sample of an ad, or this is a sample of a problem, a case study. So I know Moira and Dione are here. You could do a really good sample of a case study of how you handled a difficult client for Office Earth. Okay, So you could say that you're an experienced virtual receptionist, that you are very good with handling clients, and the following case study is an example of how you handled very effectively a difficult client. Exactly, Dione. There are lots of examples, and you don't need to use the people's real name. You can just say, this client was trying to get in touch with a legal company, and they weren't returning their calls, and I was the virtual receptionist and had to handle it. And this is how I did it. So it just demonstrates to people that you're really serious about the job. Imagine you're going to a virtual interview and people are asking you these these questions. So what experience have you had? And this is the portfolio section of your eLance. You can demonstrate to them what experience you've had with live examples. And the other thing I've just thought of, Storm, you do work for academics and you do PowerPoint presentations. So you could replicate that with different content and have it, text on there to say that a similar presentation was developed for an academic who, as a result of their presentation, got further funding for their research.
Yeah.
So deal in benefits rather than features.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, let's go to the other one. Now, right way about this job, you know that it's a better job. You don't even have to look at the more dots over here under the client, okay? They're payment verified. They've awarded 53% of the jobs that they've put up. They're a long-term member. They've been a member since August 2008, and they're in Victoria. Okay. Now, those 459 jobs I did a search on, by the way, most of them were in Australia. So there's a lot of jobs there. You can go worldwide, but you probably don't need to. You probably get enough if you just targeted Australia. The other thing that I like about this job, he's got a photograph, so chances are he's a real person. But look at the detail he gives in what he's looking for. He's obviously put a lot of thought into it. He's looking for someone that will meet his needs. He's willing to put a good briefing up there. So that, to me, that indicates he's a serious buyer. And look, he gives, the critical skills that you're looking for, bonus skills, email etiquette, customer service, good phone skills, MS Word and Excel, and then a list of tools that would be advantageous. Okay. The business is in Australia, so they operate on Australian Eastern Standard Time, but they are an international business, so a lot of their clients are based in Australia. So they want someone who's available between 9 and 5. And he's saying, please quote an hourly rate that reflects a long-term arrangement from a committed provider. Okay. And the skills he's looking for is admin assistant, customer service, email handling, and sales. Now, do you get the feeling that he's looking for someone, he's bargain hunting, he's looking for the cheapest available? What's your impression of this client?
Looks like he's very serious about developing a relationship with someone very professional.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Dione. He's not bargain hunting because of the hourly rate. He's put $20 to $30 an hour. Okay. He's giving you a hint at 20 hours a week. He released the job on September the 10th, and there's 13 days left. Okay. And he wants someone to start it immediately. So you can see there's a lot of potential for you to really address the direct requirements that he's looking for. The first thing I would do is look on the skills test and look at see what tests I can do. Can I do email etiquette? Can I do customer service, phone skills, media skills, social media? Can I, do this, that, and the other? And I wouldn't worry too much. Microsoft Groove is similar to Microsoft SharePoint, so you share workspaces. But you may not have used Microsoft Groove. Go to YouTube. There's everything on YouTube. Have a look at a couple of videos that demonstrates how to use Groove. So at least you can be honest with the client and say, look, I haven't actually used Groove, but I've used similar software, or I've had a look at the software and I don't see a problem with it. I'm sure that given the access to it, we could work together on that. CRM's the same, and Facebook, Twitter, the rest of them. Look them up. Asana is just a project management software. We all use Skype. Gmail and Google Drive are freely available. So even if there are areas where you don't have in-depth experience, do a bit of prep work. You've got a couple of weeks. You've got time to actually put some effort in and demonstrate to this guy that you do have the experience that they're looking for. It looks like a reliable job. He's looking for a long-term commitment. So you really have to stand out and you really have to blow this person out of the water. I personally think if you're based in Australia, you'll have a better chance of getting this job. You can look at the Philippines, you can look at their profiles and who you're up against. And I'd particularly look for people that have done the skills tests and have a look at what skills they've actually passed. You can see that Andy W is in Sweden and he's part of a team. And he's got an MBA degree, project management, professional certification over 9 years. Now, to me, I would think he would be overskilled for the job, but because he's part of a company, he could be applying for the work and then delegating it out to someone else. I'd certainly look at his profile. And he's done several tests. You girls should be able to pass call center skills no problem and get to the top 5%. Project management, says he's got an MBA, but he only got 30% on that. Phone support, 5%. Help desk. So you want to get more skills than him that are relevant to the client's requirements. And most of these, Kelly Matthews in Australia, she's had one job with great success. Kelly Matthews, I know who that, I actually know who that is. She's changed her surname. Okay, let's have a look at Kelly's. She's got a document. She's got a resume up there. I'd suggest that she hasn't got a portfolio together and she hasn't tested herself on anything. I mean, she's just put a list of things that she thinks she's good at. You can beat that profile really very easily. South Africa, Mauritius, United States, and some of the people that are in the United States aren't really in United States. They say they've got a United States office when in fact they're from India. So ID is unlimited. Let's have a look. It's a US registered company. And they're bilingual assistants, web design. I'd say that's a dodgy. And they've done a few tests, so they look pretty good. So I guess I'm hoping I'm getting through to you that if you're really serious about finding work on eLance, then it's very important you're as serious about building your profile on eLance and going through and picking up the small jobs, low value, you know, the things that you can do quickly so that you get some feedback from those clients is very important. Building up that feedback, raising your level on eLance means that it's definitely a case of success breeds success. The other thing I'll say about your bids, and we'll go into that in a bit detail in another session, but you can have attachments to bids and don't leave it to the client to go to your portfolio and find them. Add relevant items on your portfolio as an attachment to your bid so that it's easy for the clients to see it. So they open up your message, they click on the attachment, and that's where they've got everything in front of them. Thanks for joining me today. Is there any questions before we finish the session? Any comments? Have I inspired you to go and do some work on your profiles? Thanks, Moira. I would really love the opportunity through the job club for you to post your eLance profile. Once you've done some work, once you've done some tests, let's share it on the job club so that people can see what you've done, and you can let others know whether you find it difficult, whether, you know, and little tips, because it's all a learning curve for everyone. And if we can help each other to get more work, there's hundreds, thousands of jobs up there. And you know, eLance is only one online job company. There's others as well, but we're focusing on eLance for now. We'll move to the others, but we want you to master eLance first. So Dione said, no question. She's just set herself a goal so she can subscribe again. Your knowledge and wisdom is invaluable, Liz. Thank you. That's a scary thought. Okay. Okay, ladies, please share it in the job club. Thank you for joining me today. It makes it a lot easier if I've got someone else online with me. Yes, and look, I'll see you again next week. Thank you.